Welcome to Spiritual Wisdom Weekly from the Greater Orlando Center for Spiritual Living. Each week, we share practical spiritual insights designed to support your growth, helping you live with more clarity, compassion, and intention. Wherever you're listening from, we're glad you're here. Let's begin.
So, as we move into our sacred space, take this time to kind of recognize that we have come here for a purpose. This is a spiritual practice to come together, to learn together and love together. And so I'm going to light this candle. And the candle makes me think, it kind of represents how God has lit a spark in each one of us. That's how we came to be, an idea. And this is the truth of the being of all of us. We are each and every one of us bright lights of Spirit's expression into form. And so let this represent for us today also the oneness, that this is something we all share everywhere in the world. All of us together are these lights of being. That's our true essence. And let it also represent how we have individually brought our lights in to form the one light of this community for this moment in time. And in that spirit of understanding that we come together to learn and love, to expand, to awaken, to come to know better, to understand more fully who we are, why we are here, how the universe operates, and expecting the answers to these questions, the light bulbs that come on as we come together and share this information, this wonderful teaching. I know that this morning is to that purpose. This morning is honored by that which knows the sacredness of each and every one of us and of our gathering together today. I don't call God into this space, it's already here. It walked in with you and it lives here during all time, for it is everywhere present in all ways. And I know that what is true for us as we seek in this day, that what is needed to be heard is heard. What is needed to be learned is sparked into our awareness. As that is true for us, it is true for all seekers everywhere. All those who are searching and seeking to know more of who they are, this blessing honors that. Knowing that this is the business we are about, this is the love we share out into the world, I know that this day has Spirit filling every space, every moment, in every way, and all is well. So I mentioned last week that we do this development of our practitioners here, and I am sure those of you who have heard her speak before feel that Cheryl's pretty well got that training aced. For those of you that are new, Cheryl has been studying this teaching for 28 years. Her day job is as a life coach, mental health coach. And she mentioned to me how often she uses this, but also watches it play out in her clients as their lives progress. So she has much wisdom, and she looks good in so many colors. She's in pink today. She always wears blue. They came in and asked me about colors for the lights, and I'm like, oh, she'll be in blue. But she's in pink, so there must be something special and new happening and magical today. Join me in welcoming Cheryl to the podium.
So just take a deep breath with me right now. Breathe in the possibility of the new day and breathe out anything that has come before this moment. And so from this place, I invite you back to your childhood. Let's just go back in time and remember the magician on the stage. You maybe were at a birthday party, or maybe it was a cartoon that you watched. The magician holds up a wand, waves it over a hat, and shouts the mysterious word, Abracadabra, and poof, a rabbit. appears out of the hat. Wow. That something was created out of nothing. Candy, I wanted to ask Craig and come and demonstrate that. Her husband's a magician. But we've all seen it, right? We've all sat in wonder, in awe of that. And then we grew up thinking, well, okay, this is probably now, I'm old and I know that it's just a sleight of hand, the rabbit was in his pocket or something. And so it's just a made-up word for children's entertainment. History tells us a different story. The word abracadabra has ancient meaning going back to the Aramaic. That's the language that Jesus spoke. It starts from the word abracadabra, which translates directly to something profoundly spiritual and dangerously powerful. It means I create as I speak. And that's what the song was about. I have the ability to create my world. Let that sink in. This is not a trick. It is a description of the mechanism that the universe operates under. It is a fundamental law of our being. We're not describing the world when we open our mouths. We are constructing it one word at a time. In the beginning, there was the Word. We know that. That was the beginning of creation. If you go back 5,000 to 6,000 years to the Hindu religion, right? Om, that word. This is the teaching of the ages. It's across many traditions. Sound, vibration, like the one we had from the band. The spoken decree. These are all the tools of creation. And today, we're going to explore what it means to reclaim this wand. We're going to look at magic, the very real spiritual science of language. Because if you create as you speak, the question is not, is it working? The question is, what exactly are you trying to create? Do we even think that? When things come out of our mouths, how can we speak consciously? How can we start casting the spells that we want? Have you ever noticed the hidden clues in our language? We learn spelling in school. We cast a sentence. The gospel essentially means the good spell or story. Words are indeed a spell. They are units of energy that we release into the atmosphere of our life, and once they're released, they do not return void. They gather momentum, they shape the ether, they transform the cells of our body in our health and the condition of our wallet. Ralph Waldo Emerson, who was a great transcendentalist, one of the influencers, for those taking roots, you'll learn about Emerson, on Ernest Holmes, paved the way for so much of our New Thought philosophy. He understood that the mind is the only creator. Oh, God, I've got this. I have a powerful tool here. I'm going to create magic. Okay. So, he understood that thought crystallized into word becomes things. And so he says, oh, I've got to turn it on. Sorry, Paul. I need my yeah. Oh, this one. I should have had it on before. Okay, here we go. Okay, we have a new advancer, so I don't have to say next. So let's see it. Oh, there it is. This is what Ralph Waldo Emerson said. Stand guard at the portal of your mind. The ancestor for every action is a thought. That's where it starts. Those thoughts are the words that we think and we speak. We have to stand guard. Why? Because most of us are casting spells unconsciously. We are accidental magicians. I call it sleepwalking through life. We wake up and say, I'm so tired. Abracadabra, the body responds, I'm feeling tired, I'm feeling heavy. We look at a bill. I can never get ahead. Abracadabra, the universe hears that instruction and, okay, let's constrict the flow of abundance, right? That's what she's creating. So Ernest Holmes, our founder, was incredibly precise about this. He taught the law of mind is a mechanical law. It does not judge, it only obeys. It does not care whether you are sick or well. It just acts on the words you give it. So Ernest Holmes says, the word which we speak is the law of our life. We are dealing with a natural force which we can use, positive or negative, but the force itself is always the same. A neutral, powerful force. Just like electricity. It can light your home, power your computer, or it can electrocute you. Doesn't care. The electricity has no stake in that, no dog in that fight. It just flows wherever the conduit leads. Your words are this conduit. Okay, all right, Cheryl, all right, okay, I got it. So how am I going to speak more consciously? Well, it begins by noticing the difference between reporting the past and creating a future. When you say, I am sick, you're reporting on a current physical sensation. But in the spiritual realm, I am is a statement of identity. It is a command to the universe. By attaching the word sick to I am, you're identifying your creative essence with an illness. I used to say, I'm a diabetic. I stopped saying that. I said, oh, I started out, I'm a person with the symptoms of a diabetic. And that is changing every day. I'm getting healthier. In less than a year, I was able to take my A1C, for those of you in the knowing about this, from 9.5 to 6.3. So that is a real, true ability to create. I didn't change a whole lot else, but that is our possibilities, that we have that. So speaking consciously, we might say instead, I'm moving through a physical challenge, but I'm healing. Do you feel the difference? Instead of one is a dead end, the other way. I'm going in and out. I don't know what. Sleep. Oop. Instead of saying I can't afford it, which slams the door on possibility, we learn to say, I am calling in abundance to meet this desire. My supply is already on its way. You want to switch out? I want to switch out. Yours. Oh my God! Thank you. And so it is. All right. All right. So this isn't about lying to yourself. It's about leading yourself to the place you want to go. It is about understanding your current reality, that it is just a residue of your past thinking and speaking. If you want a new reality, you just change the input. You change the spell. You reframe it. Now, I know it sounds too simple, right? Change your words, change your life. Oh, where did I hear that? But if it were this easy, everyone would be walking around living the dream. The truth is, changing our language requires immense courage. It requires the courage to respell our existence. Why is this so hard? Because our language patterns are inherited. I speak the language of my parents, and my family was all about scarcity. We speak, money doesn't grow on trees. Well, it could, right? We speak the language of our culture. We speak the language of our human race. We speak the language of the news cycle. If you grew up in a place where worry was the love language, be careful was said more often than be brave, worry is your native tongue. To speak of abundance in a family lineage of scarcity feels like betrayal, feels like it's dangerous, it's unfamiliar, it's awkward. That's where the courage comes in. This is where we turn to the wisdom of Don Miguel Ruiz, in the masterpiece, The Four Agreements. The very first agreement, he says, is the most important and also the most difficult. Be impeccable with your word. Thank you, Joe. Ruiz believes beautifully in the Four Agreements about, he writes that the word is not just a sound, but it is a force. He says, the word is not just a sound or a written symbol, the word is a force. It is the power to have, to express, to communicate, to think, therefore to create the events in your life. But like a sword, it has two edges. Your word can create the most beautiful dream, or your word can destroy everything around you. Be impeccable comes from the Latin word peccatus, which means sin. The prefix "im" means without. So be impeccable means be without sin. And in this context, it's not a moral judgment of some gloomy deity. It's Hebrew for sin is chet, which is an archery term meaning missing the mark. So when we sin, we just miss the mark. When I thought I was diabetic, I just missed the mark. It was a mistake. To fall short of your highest self. If anything that you do goes against yourself, you have missed the mark. Be impeccable, without sin, always on guard. When you judge yourself and you say, oh, I'm so stupid, or when you gossip about someone, when you say you're using the power of the word against yourself, you're not being impeccable. You are cutting yourself with the sword. To respell your life means you stop using the sword against yourself, you stop gossiping and talking about your own limitations. When the old thought comes up, you're not good enough to apply for this job, catch it. You pause. You have the courage to say, cancel that. That's the old spell. The new spell is, I am worthy, I am capable, I am ready. You're going to feel some resistance. Your ego's going to be in there. Well, who do you think you are? You're just making stuff up. You can smile and say, yep, I am making things up. That is what creators do. We make things up. We make up joy where there's sorrow. We make up health where there's sickness. We make up peace where there was chaos. That is our work, to persist in the new declaration until the atmosphere of your mind changes, until the neural pathways rewire, until the universe has no choice but to obey, and it begins to rearrange the furniture of your life to match your new confession. So when I make a mistake, I immediately say, cancel, and rephrase it or reframe it as something in the past, restated in a positive way. So I want to share with you, I've been a practitioner going on 3 years now. And that's the biggest thing that I learned, was the ability to see a mistake and to transform it into the spiritual truth. For those practitioners, that's what we do. That's when we meet and do the 1-minute blessings, when we do a treatment, that's what we're doing, is we're seeing the spiritual truth. So I want to give you some tips on some of the ones that have had the most impact. So instead of saying, I'm ashamed, I feel guilty about, we can turn that into a spiritual truth. I forgive myself. I love myself unconditionally. I'm afraid. No, I have unwavering faith in the divine. I am a spiritual being. Everything is unfolding in divine time and divine order. I don't have enough money. I don't have a job. No, God is my source. God is infinitely abundant. A job is just one outlet, one source, one of an infinite supply available. This always happens to me. Principle is not bound by precedent. I know it's one of your favorites, Lisa. I am forever changing. I am forever growing. So these are some of my favorites. I'm unlucky in love. The most important relationship is the one I have with myself, and I am love manifesting every day. You see the difference. I've lost my job, and everybody's rejecting me. No, God is my only source, not a job. I'm starting on a new career adventure. When I am rejected, it's just the universe gently nudging me toward my higher purpose, right? Doesn't it sound like magic, right? And I can tell you that it works. If my wife were just kinder, I could be happy. No, the only thing I control is myself, my thoughts, my judgments, my happiness is not dependent on anyone else. I do not give my peace away. I am in constant pain. This is one I hear a lot. I am not my body. I know it is possible to live free of pain. I am healing the cause of my pain, which is separation from God. I accept God into my life. So what I'd like to do is end with all of us casting a spell together. So we're here to practice this. I want to invite you to participate in a collective declaration right here, right now, in the New Thought tradition. We call it affirmative prayer. In this moment, we unify our minds and we speak the truth of our being, regardless of the facts or regardless of what the world might look like or what has happened in the past. So I invite you right now, place a hand over your heart, if that feels comfortable, and feel the vibration in your chest. The rhythm of life is beating within you. That life is God's life. That life is you. That life is now. And that life is a creative power. And so let's say together the words on the screen, if you can see them. I am a divine creation of the infinite. My words are power. My thoughts are law. And today, I release all agreements with any limitation. I speak abundance into my home. I speak love into my relationships. I am the author of my experience. And as I speak, I create it. So it is. Amen. Let's hold that vibration. Feel the shift I don't know if you can, I can feel it. I feel a shift in the room. It is not just positive thinking. This is spiritual law in motion. We are all part of it. We are all witnessing it. We are all contributing to it. And so as you leave the center today, remember that magic wand is right under your nose, literally. It is your mouth, your voice, your word. Watch what you say this week. Be gentle with yourself when you slip, but be fierce in your correction. Respell or reframe your world with love. Respell the world with hope. Respell your world with the absolute knowledge that you are supported by a universe that always says, yes. Now let's go forth and create the masterpiece God intended as you. Thank you.
Thank you for spending this time with us on Spiritual Wisdom Weekly from the Greater Orlando Center for Spiritual Living. If this episode supported you in any way, we invite you to stay connected. Listen again, share it with someone you care about, or simply carry what resonated with you into your week. Until next time, take good care and keep growing in spirit.